Hey! So I felt like being comfy today for this video. I think something nice to put on if you're sleepy. Maybe your mind is busy and you just want to listen to somebody talk while you fall asleep. Or if you're just winding down to go to sleep. Or maybe you just want to relax a little bit and you're gonna listen to me today. So I thought I would do a story time video. There's a lot of like paranormal story times out there, and a lot of them are negative and like spooky ghost stories, and I get why there is an allure to that. I mean, I find those interesting as well, but I see less and less positive paranormal stories, like, you know, experiences with angels or passed on loved ones and things like that. There's a lot less of that. And I wanted to share one of my stories in regards to that, because I actually have multiple. I have a lot of paranormal stories I can share, really, but some are bad and some are good. But that's something about the paranormal, is that it's just like everything else. Like, there's good out there, there's bad out there, and really the most important thing is to just, you know, lead your life with love. Don't go looking for things, because that's never a good idea. But if you have an experience, it's not always going to be bad. That is, unless you go trying to provoke something. I just don't do that. Don't go into a space you think is haunted and try and provoke things and go in for the thrill. And I say that without judgment, because I've always been interested in the paranormal. I've always been interested in ghosts, and part of that is because I've had psychic gifts since I was a kid, and so I always knew there was something out there, and I never really understood it. And understanding, you know, by my belief system, even now, it's a process. I've just taken experiences as I've experienced them, and I know that leading with love and knowing that we're all divinely protected and loved by God is very important. Anyways, my story. Let's get into the story. So, when I was a little girl, my great-grandparents lived with my family. They lived in the basement of our family house. We lived in a bungalow semi. So it wasn't a very big house, but the upstairs had 3 bedrooms, one for me, one for my little brother, and one for my parents. And downstairs had 1 bedroom, and my great-grandparents lived down there, and they had their own kitchen, their own living room. It was a bit smaller than the upstairs, but it was enough space for like an older couple to live comfortably. My great-grandmother was my best friend ever, and losing her was a very difficult thing for me, one of the most difficult things I've ever gone through in my life. And I'll save my story with her in particular for another day, but I'm just going to talk about one experience that I had that was really beautiful and really, I don't even know the word, like, astounding. It was just really incredible that this happened. It was life-saving, potentially. It was divine intervention, I guess you could call it. That house did have some activity in it from time to time, but for the most part it was not normal, but like, I don't know, it had vibes about it that some places just do. So my great-grandmother died when I think I was 7. It was, I remember it was just before I started grade 2, so I believe I was 7. It was a couple days before I started grade 2, and it was tremendously difficult for me. She was my best friend, and I had a difficult time socializing as a kid. I had a difficult time fitting in and having a lot of friends, and she was my best friend. I came home and I spent all my time with her as soon as I got home. My mom worked from home and my dad worked away from home. So I spent more time with her than I did anyone else. From the moment I was couldn't remember anything, could remember anything to when she passed. And that was very difficult for me. But after she died, her and my great grandfather wanted to be buried together, and they were both going to be cremated. So we had her ashes actually at the house for years until my great grandfather also died, and he died when I was 14, so that would have been 7 years later. But there was one night where he was still living with us. He still lived with us for a while after she passed. And they were old, right? She was 82 when she died, so he would have been about that age or in his mid 80s. I don't really remember how old he was, but it was late at night. I was sleeping, everyone was sleeping. Everyone was asleep, it was a night, just like any other night. I had a lot of toys as a kid, and I don't know if any of you remember back in, like, it was the early 2000s. I had a Tigger that you could pull on my backpack, and it would make like Tigger noises. It would giggle like him. It would, as it sprung back up, it was, people used to have these things where you'd put them on your backpacks and you'd pull down on, like, it was a little stuffy, like this big, and you'd pull on it and it would make noise. So mine would be like, that's what Tiggers know, or Tiggers know best, or something like that. And it would giggle like Tigger and whatever else. And I had it on my, so that was on my backpack, which was hanging up on my shelves. And my shelves are made out of CNC grids, like used to make guinea pig cage. Well, when I think CNC grids, I think making guinea pig cages because I have guinea pigs, but people use them for other things. I had CNC grids for, like, to keep my toys in my shelves, and I used to make doll houses with them too, like put a blanket down and have my dolls. But anyways, that's besides the point. I was hanging off a CNC grid. Everyone's asleep. So I'm asleep, and all of a sudden I wake up hearing this Tigger go off. Like, nobody's in the room. Nothing's pulling on it. So I open my eyes, I look over, I see the toy. Making noise, but nothing's pulling on it at all. I'm trying to remember if it was moving on its own or if it was just making the noise and not moving. And honestly, it's been so long, I can't remember which it was. But I think it wasn't moving at all. It was just making the noise. And it was just going through all of the different things. And so I woke up, I'm looking at it, I'm seeing it making all this noise, and I'm feeling pretty spooked myself, so I just kind of pretend like nothing's going on, and I'm trying to go back to sleep because I'm scared. I was, I don't know, 7 or 8, something like that. And my parents' bedroom was right next to mine. So my mom got up and she comes in my room and she's like, what's going on? And she looks at the toy, she sees that I'm in bed and she's hearing it. And then when she got into the hallway, she could hear my great grandfather screaming my great grandmother's name, and that he was in pain. And so as soon as she got into the hallway and she heard that, she immediately stopped, ran to the front of the house and down the stairs, and she saw that my great grandfather had had a fall. He was confused. He'd fallen down in the kitchen. I don't know what he was doing, but he'd fallen down and hurt himself. So she was able to get help. As soon as she was in the hallway and heard him, Tigger stopped making noise. Everything was good. But that was a paranormal experience. That was, I think it was, my great grandmother, and if not, it was, angels helping, because it wasn't his time yet, and he needed help, and nobody was going to wake up. I was interrupted once again, this time by a cat. He did not like that there was a shut door, as cats do. Do you want to say hi? No, just take over the video. Just take it over. Come here. That's Havel. He's a great cat. Anyways, what I was saying was that day was crazy. Like, nothing was moving that toy. It wasn't just me that experienced it. It was also my mom, and I think my dad heard it too. He was also asleep in the bed with my mom. And all of the noises that the toy was making stopped as soon as my mom heard it and was able to go down and get my great-grandfather help. And shortly after that, they kind of realized that he needed to be... Can you just relax? That he needed to be somewhere. You just stop. Come here. So yeah, shortly after that, they were able to get him help. He was able to make a full recovery. I don't remember exactly what happened because that was a very long time ago for me. But he was fine essentially, and we made accommodations for him to move to somewhere where he had more assistance shortly after that, and something that was safer for him. And he lived out the rest of his days, not in the apartment downstairs anymore, but in a nursing home. I wish. People, could you just please not sit there? Anywhere but there. It's the one spot. Like, if you... have you... This cat is very entitled. He thinks... You tell him, you can lay anywhere but one spot. That's where he's going to be. And I hope that just telling stories casually like this, while we're winding down to go to bed, is entertaining. I hope it's something cozy and makes you feel less alone, and it's more of a heartwarming, like, paranormal story. It was one of the most incredible things that I've ever gone through personally, or I don't know, gone through. One of the most incredible paranormal experiences that I've ever had. I love that cat with my whole heart, but he just doesn't understand. He doesn't understand. He just can't plunk himself in front of my video and start grooming. His purring is so loud, which is very cute, but he was very upset being on the other side of the door, so I let him in. Anyways, I think I should go to bed soon. I hope, like I said, I hope this was well received. I've never thought about doing just like a cozy wind down with me sort of video before bed, but I kind of like the idea of that. I like the idea of just sharing things, like we're friends or just on life's journey together, which we are. But it was a beautiful thing that it wasn't his time yet, and I thank God, I thank his angels for looking after my family that day. So I am going to end things here, but before I do, I have to share this cat. Well, he's He's like snoring beside me. You want to say hello? You hear his purring. He purrs so loudly. He sees the string on my phone. It was really special to me. He's always around whenever I'm feeling anxious or upset or feeling out of sorts. He's a very supportive animal. He always comes around. You can just tell when I'm not feeling myself. He's very supportive. He likes to be around me all the time. And I think he's just a gift. And I'm very thankful for him. He is 11 years old, or about that, as far as I know. Alright, he's done with that. Stop it! He's a menace. Crazy. Crazy boy. String is not for you. He loves string. He just... Well, he either made this video 10 times better or he ruined it, so I love him either way. If you did like this video, let me know down below if you wanted me to do another video like this. It was just really unplanned. It was very candid and very chatty and cozy. I think I'm going to go to sleep now. I hope if you are winding down to go to sleep, this was helpful for you and relaxing for you and heartwarming. I have all my links down below. Instagram. If you want to book a reading with me, that'll also be down below. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.